Bliss, everyone. Bliss, and welcome to a brand new weekly reading. My name is Rissa Vibes, aka Readings by Rissa. So excited to connect with you as always. For those of you who don't know, I am a professional intuitive and intuitive coach, and I help spiritually curious people activate their intuitive gifts and walk their enlightenment path. And I do so through one-on-one coaching, readings, and also these weekly readings here on YouTube. So many other things that I host as well for the community, but super excited every single Sunday to come to this beautiful space and connect with all of you to really analyze and feel into the energy of the upcoming week and to get prepared energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally for the week to come. So I'm super excited to have you here. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And there's so much going on in our world, in our country, in ourselves, in our lives. So much going on in the stars, in the cosmos, and in the energy to discuss. So I'm super excited to jump into this week's weekly reading. We're going to be covering today, which is November 8th to November 15th, 2020. And we're also going to be talking about the Scorpio new moon that is on the 15th of November, which is on Sunday. We're going to talk about the Scorpio new moon in a pretty detailed way, but I'm also going to add even more detail on next Sunday's reading as well. So make sure to watch both. And I'm super excited to jump right in. But before I do, I want to do a little review of the cards that I pulled last week, just so that we can get a good feel for what energy we just experienced last week, so we can feel fully integrated and anchored into that before moving into a new vibration for the week to come. Okay? So let me know how all of you are doing. I see Leslie's here. Hi, sister. Good to see you as well. So excited to have you. And let me know how you're doing with this daylight savings time, everybody, because I know that for me, being in Arizona, Mountain Standard Time, we don't change our time. But because I do these readings based on Central Time, because of that, I have done today's reading an hour later than I usually do, which is actually the same time, 1:11 p.m. Central Time, as usual. So it's kind of been messing with me, moving all the sessions around I have and things like that based on the time difference. So also let me know how you're all doing with that, because that's definitely a part of our integration this week, and also just the way in which we're shifting energetically. So keep that in mind as well, and let me know how you're feeling with all of that. All right, so let's review last week's cards real quick, just to get a feel for last week's energy. Last week, I pulled the past life card. That was in the beginning of the week, and it was really encouraging us to explore our past life selves, to understand the connections that we have presently that are also linked to past lives, and to also pull in past life healing, past life power, past life protection that we may need in our present life. Really, really powerful card. So if any of you have been called to past life exploration, definitely reach out to me if you would like a one-on-one past life reading. That is something that I specialize in and truly enjoy helping people activate and access within their consciousness. And it really provides such healing, such cleansing, and such realization of who you've been and now who you've become. And the past life card, I think, is going to continue to come up throughout the rest of the year, because we are really allowing ourselves to let go of the past and also readdress the past in order to reanalyze it and learn all the things we need to learn from it, to gain all the wisdom we needed to gain, and to be able to move higher into our vibration for the future. Then in the middle of the week, I pulled the Empress card, which was such a powerful card to pull, because the card for this month, the month of November, was the Mother of Mercy card. And last month's card for October was the Empress card. And so we literally have this really powerful divine feminine presence. We even pulled it last week for the middle of the week card, letting us know that the divine feminine is holding us in all of the divine masculine transformation and healing that's occurring. That other side of the yin yang, the yin is holding space for the yang, and really allowing this powerful energy of rebirth and reactivation spiritually for the masculine collective and masculine energies within ourselves. Okay. And then the end of the week card was all about forgiveness. And this is actually what we're in right now. So if there's been anything in your experience that has reflected a need for forgiveness or an attention on forgiveness, make sure you're learning that lesson. Make sure you're applying forgiveness where you can, and make sure you're allowing yourself to tap into that compassion and consideration, because there is a lot of that energy that we're moving into for this week from that end of the week card, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this week's energy. There's so much to share, and I feel like it's going to come through super, super quickly because it's really pretty direct and straightforward. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I got in meditation, these are the messages that I get in meditation, in downloads, in readings that I do, and kind of tapping into the Mass Collective, and just whatever my spirit guides or my higher self tells me is most important for me to share with the collective on this channel and in these readings. So the first thing that I picked up on in meditation this morning was that tensions are going to continue to rise, and that these are something that is important for us to be aware of. It's pretty much inevitable, and it's also something that we need to just more so prepare for, not be afraid of, not get swept up in the tension, not to give the tension power, but to just observe that tensions are going to rise. Obviously, with the election tensions that have already been at play, this is going to continue. Obviously, the announcement of president has been, officiated in a way, but it's not all the way officiated. So there's this tension, this underlying tension on both sides that I really feel energetically is going to continue to bubble and rise, and it can create quite a bit of chaos. So what we need to do is remember that our hearts are what is most important, to stand in our intention, to stand in our purity, to stand in our truth. And so we want to step into love. We want to step into forgiveness. We want to step into compassion and consideration. And we really want to lead with our heart space. We don't want to abandon our heart just because of ego or a desire to win or a competitive or comparative energy. We want to step into our heart and recognize the all unity connectedness, okay? When we can step into that, we're going to be able to move through tensions a lot easier. We're going to be able to observe things with a clearer mind and a clearer perspective. We're not going to be swept up or as easily manipulated in either direction. And it's going to really give us a strength of mind that we need right now. This is going to help us be more discerning of truth and justice, and allow us to really step into the full transformation and maturity of that as a collective. So all of these things that are happening right now are tests of the collective to step into a stronger mindset, to step into a more discerning and heart-centered focus and truth, and to step into more awareness of how to fully embody truth and justice as a collective. So these are very, very deep tests for us, okay? And these are tests also for our abundance mentality, abundance being our freedom, abundance being our, of course, financial security, abundance being our stability and our balance and our unity and community connection. These are things that are really going to be tested as a collective and have continually been tested all year. And now that things are continuing to bubble and we're in this place of towards the end of the year, we're in the last 2 months of the year, we're in the final stretch, we're really being given so many opportunities to rise above by going deep into ourselves, by going deep into reflection on the collective, on history, on, the bigger picture perspective on everything, on all, sides of the story. When we go deep, we rise higher into a higher consciousness and higher awareness. So as tensions rise, go deeper within yourself, go deeper within the awareness that you can have and muster from the, research that you can kind of acquire. Go deeper into, your connection to spirit, go deeper into your connection to your heart and into your discernment, and allow yourself to let that depth bring you into a higher consciousness and a higher vibration, because that's how we're going to get through the rise of tension. This is also kind of the second wave of coronavirus stuff that I've been picking up on. Like I said, the election tensions, also some economic things I'm feeling, and just natural things on Earth. things that are kind of connected to environmental things, natural disasters. It's a lot of the energy that I was talking about that I felt for September. And then I told you guys in September, it kind of felt like it was pushed back, or it was just like kind of settled, and like the tone of it kind of shifted. But then I feel like that energy is kind of coming back in a different way. So the tension is still there. It's kind of starting to rise again. And it's kind of all of the same things that I was feeling for September, which a lot of intuitives were feeling for September. And a lot of intuitives also had the same experience where they're feeling all this tension. We thought something big was going to happen in September, and something big did happen. The transformation of energy, the shift of energy, the things that were not so easily seen physically, but more subtly felt energetically, definitely was present. But the actual physical representation, I feel like, and the tension there is rising now for more of maybe an expression sometime soon, or before the end of the year, or at the end of the year. Of course, a lot of people are talking about the December 21st event or 31st event, somewhere in between there, where a big shift is going to happen. I definitely feel that as well. So lots and lots of things to prepare for. And that's really what I was getting from my guides about the tension that's rising, is to prepare, not to get scared, not to, panic or freak out, or, give up on everything or go into a deep depression or anything like that. This is a time actually to strengthen the mind, to stand strong in your truth of your own spirit and the power of your spirit and the power of your light, to observe with patience, with peace, and with clarity, and to really move with your intuition, with your heart center guiding you, and to connect to the people in your life that are doing the same. That's a huge thing. And to pass the test so that we can really become who we said we were going to become in this life and in this world that we chose to come here during this time for. So, we're rising into our purpose in such a big way with that. Okay, another thing that I really want to talk about is abundance mentality. And I did just touch on it a little bit, but I want to go a little deeper into that, because for this week, we're going to be continually tested on abundance mentality. We're going to be called to really clear any lack mentality, to really see it if we haven't been seeing it, really paying attention to the things that we say to ourselves, the things that we assume about certain abundance experiences, and the ways in which we may be limiting ourselves from abundance just in the power of our thoughts. So pay attention to this. Make sure that you're not slipping into thoughts of lack, or into perspectives that are centered around lack, or that are pinching you off from abundance that you've asked for. And make sure that your faith is strong. Make sure your belief in receiving the miracles, receiving the abundance that you're asking for, make sure that belief is strong, and make sure that that belief is just as abundant as the abundance you're seeking. Okay? Dive deep within yourself and see if there's anything that's limiting your ability to feel into the potentiality of your abundance and the belief of that abundance becoming real. Okay? Lots of tests here, so make sure to pass the test, because as you pass the tests, the gifts of you passing the tests are going to be huge rewards, huge abundance, and the things that you've asked for. So also be clear in what you want and really ask for that, pray for that, meditate on it, visualize it, embody it, imagine that it's real, and walk that energy into existence, okay? How's everybody feeling? We've got Kayla here as well. We've got Simone here. Oh, so good to see you. Carmen is here as well. Kevin is here. Maria's here. Oh, so good to see all of you. Thank you for joining. All right, so let's keep going with these spirit messages. The next one is about comparison and competition, and how important it is to really step into more compassion and consideration. Okay, so we're switching out the C's. Okay, no more comparison, no more competition. Let's step into compassion and consideration. That's how we really alchemize the energy that has been destructive lately. When we step into an energy of separatism, we're stepping into a surrender to duality. We're stepping into a consciousness of aggression and opposition. We're stepping into hostility, and we're stepping into less teamwork and more hierarchy. And that is all energy that we are not really wanting to continue in our world, right? Those are the energies that we've seen a lot in our world that have destroyed a lot of what was just and fair and united that we kind of saw for the world. And so we want to step into more of the unity consciousness, especially when there's such a strong vibration of competitiveness and comparison energy and ego and aggression and opposition and separatism happening right now. You know, elections are great for highlighting that kind of thing. Any kind of socio-political duality really tends to infect that same energy into the world. And so we want to counteract that. We want to create our own kind of cure for that energy by stepping more into compassion and consideration. So have more compassion for the people in your life, for the people that you're talking to that maybe have different political views or social views than you. Have consideration for the types of experiences that they've had that may have been influencing their perspective, and really allow yourself to shine light and love into your heart enough to not hold grudges or create hate or oppression or opposition or antagonism that's toxic into that experience. Because if you let that kind of energy into your relationships, people in your family that may not agree with you socioeconomically or politically, things in your people in your community or in your work environment, this could create such a division in your life, such an energy of tension and separatism and duality, all because you want to be right, or you want to be, you want to win, or you want your perspective to be adopted by them. And that gives you this ego, drive, or vice versa. And the way we nullify that, the way we clear that, is by not letting our ego join the party. So if you're in that place of wanting to win, or you're in this comparison, or feeling even insecure at your own, different perspective, or whatever it may be, wherever you land on that spectrum, make sure you're aware that that energy is creating a division, and you can change that by just simply moving more into an energy of understanding, an energy of love, and love for yourself, so that you don't keep feeding that same energy and creating more of that in your life. Because if they are the ones that are, kind of being more egoic and are wanting to win and wanting you to adopt their beliefs and, wanting to put you down for your beliefs or whatever, you can also nullify it in the same way by just not participating, by just saying, you know what, you have a right to your beliefs, I'm going to have a right to mine, and, let's move on, or let's talk about something else, or I'm going to remove myself from this conversation because it's not something that I think is worth creating division over, right? So this is how we nullify that. This is how we step into consideration of each other as human beings. This is how we step into compassion of one another for each other's own right to express our experiences or emotions or our thoughts, but also not to have to, do so much that we're overpowering or trying to overpower the other, or be right or be better than the other person, okay? So don't let your ego join the party in those energies, no matter how it's going, okay? This is a test as well. This is a huge test of how we're going to shift the vibration in this world. And we do so through communication. These are where a lot of our tests come through. And of course, Mercury went direct at the top of this last week. So we're feeling the wisdom, we're feeling the true integration of awareness from that. And we're also feeling kind of a new level of maturity there. So make sure through the tests in that you really pass them, and you show the universe that, yes, you learned that and that you're doing better in that way. Now, also with Mars retrograde, we're having that go direct this week. And with Mars retrograde, we're really seeing this final test of our progressive movement forward. So these are where we're going to see anything else out of alignment, out of balance, out of sync with the goals that we have for our future. They're going to be highlighted, and we're not going to be able to escape them. We're going to really have to look at them and say, is this something that we can work through, that we can tolerate, Or is this something that we have to clear out of our life in order to keep moving forward in the direction of our goals? This is huge. Don't miss the opportunity to clear things that are getting in your way out of your life right now. This will help you make room for what's to come next year that is so abundant and powerful. So realizing what's holding you back, make sure you're paying attention to that and acting accordingly, because we have only a couple more weeks of integration and closing of this Mars retrograde for us to really follow that lesson, integrate it, activate it, and receive the abundance from passing those tests, okay? How's everybody doing? Take a couple deep breaths if you need it. Of course, this is so important to stay present, to stay meditative, to let yourself feel into each part of these energies. There is a lot to process. That's also something that I really encourage all of you to keep in mind throughout this week. That energy is coming in at very, very, very high rate frequencies, that they're very intense. There's a lot of energy coming through at once in any given experience or circumstance or time. There's many levels of energy happening right now and complexities. So go slow, breathe into it, take time to process and be present with yourself in every energy shift you feel. Get clear on if it's a personal energy shift or an external energy shift from somebody else or from the mass collective. And let yourself just know that this time of transformation is going to be intense, and it is okay to feel a little overwhelmed by that here and there. It's okay to process it your own way, whether it's through sleeping or through, intense journaling, or through, just wanting to go out into nature and not have any responsibilities for a little bit. Just allow yourself to process how you're meant to, and do so in the most healthy way you can. Just pay attention to, how that processing is affecting your body, your mind, and spirit, and make sure that it's going in the direction of positivity. But know that this is going to be intense and slightly uncomfortable. And the more that you can relax into the uncomfortability by knowing that it's okay, that it's normal, that you're not alone, and that it's something that we just have to move through in order to get to the other side where things are going to kind of fall more into place. Since we're having so many big changes happening in the world, in our lives, and in our communities, really important to be present, breathe through it, and take it slow, okay? With that being said, the fight for equality, the fight for our spiritual, war, our energy of light work, our light warrior spirit, the fight is just beginning. This energy is just starting. We're just kind of getting into more of that awareness of what we need to do as a collective light force energy to keep the energy of light going and to keep things shifting in a positive way. Now, we are going to experience probably quite a bit of things to test us even more since this top of the year pandemic and all the things that followed it. So keep in mind that we're going to get better and better at handling these unexpected things. We're going to be stronger and stronger at discerning truth and deception. We're going to be wiser and wiser as those things come to the surface. And we have a pretty big Scorpio new moon this week that's going to kick off even more mysteries being revealed. So pay attention to this and know that if you're starting to feel those inklings, let yourself do the research, let yourself go down the rabbit holes, let yourself kind of go within yourself to discover what mysteries you're feeling energetically within yourself or emotionally, things of your past that are coming up. Really get explorative on what's there. Dive deep to rise high, okay? And I talked about this as the title for this reading because it's so important. The more we dive deep, the higher we have to go upwards and to access higher realms. But if we don't dive deep into ourselves and really learn ourselves at our core or at our history or at our, our true antiquity or our true essence, we really lose this opportunity to have such expansive awareness and higher vibrational kind of expression than we ever could have if we would have been keeping ourselves from that one side of the spectrum, okay? And you can kind of see this as an example of people that have really gone through things. Like if you've looked at people's lives, if you know certain people that maybe on the outside they don't have a ton of abundance, or maybe they don't seem like they do, but they've gone through a lot, and they've maybe had many near-death experiences, or they've started over a lot, or they've had a lot of struggle or a lot of trauma, but they've overcome it because they've seen those depths of experience and those depths of darkness or shadow. They usually have such a more deep appreciation for life, and a deeper joy, and a deeper kind of sense of love and gratitude, because they've seen those depths, versus somebody who's never really gone through trauma, never really had that. They just kind of look at life as like, it's okay, like it's not really a big deal. But because they haven't seen, the risk of losing those things, or the risk of losing everything they have, and then the ability to come back, they haven't developed as much of that depth of gratitude and joy, because they haven't explored that spectrum. And it's not to say that you should go out and find struggle, or go out and find, dark things to explore, but it's more so just allowing yourself to discover any of the things that you've gone through that you may have swept under the rug, or any depths of yourself that you haven't explored, things you haven't really let yourself express, things you haven't really let yourself acknowledge within yourself, that may be the key to getting yourself into a higher appreciation for life, or into a higher sense of love, or a higher sense of awareness, okay? So hopefully all of you are following me on that. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know. And essentially the message here is that the energy of recognizing what's real and what's not, and what's light and what's not, is just now starting, and we're going to see a lot more to come to help us get clear on that. Okay, so that's it for that. A couple more spirit messages. I just want to make sure I don't skip anything. Now, as we move through transformation, like I said, it is going to feel a little uncomfortable. That's where that in-between worlds experience happens. We've talked about this. It usually happens every fall anyway, just because the cyclic energy every year, where we start to feel a little bit of a lull. We feel a little bit of a middle space. We feel a little restless, but also a little confused and a little stagnant. And this is a result of big shifts happening in our lives, where we're in between one old place that we were in and the new place we're stepping into. And as we move into that middle space and into the next place we're supposed to be, we kind of can't move and jump too quick ahead, but we can't jump backwards. So we kind of just have to stay in this place of stillness and gradual movement through that transformation phase. So if you're feeling that lull, if you're feeling a little mediocre, a little depressed, or just a little bit then know that it's probably part of that. And the best thing to do is, like I said, dive deep within yourself, explore the emotions you have, explore what you may be missing or maybe wanting in your life that you can maybe start to set intentions for, especially since we have a new moon at the end of the week. So let this be a time for you to reflect and just go deeper within. Mirror work is a very big energy right now that I was feeling for this week, as something that we can do to amplify the energy and awareness of this week's higher consciousness. And it's really about seeing yourself in others. That's what mirror work is about. The people that are around you are direct reflections of parts of yourself. So if there are people around you that you're comparing yourself to or feeling competitive towards, notice what it is about them that you're wanting to be more like, or that you're feeling threatened by, and recognize that these are parts of yourself that need attention. And do the mirror work to reflect on that, journal about that, and shift it accordingly to what will bring you balance and more peace. These are where lessons are learned, and also where tests are given. So mirror work is essential. And now that the portal, the thinning of the veil portal is closing, this is also another essence of mirror work. We felt the spirit and matter, the spiritual world and the material world so close together with the thinning of the veil. It was almost as if we were looking into a mirror, recognizing what the spiritual world was reflecting back into the material world, and vice versa. And now we can use that awareness to continue the mirror work into our lives. So what do you want to achieve from what you've learned? Ask yourself that, because there's so much that we've revealed within this thinning of the veil these last few weeks, and within the Mercury retrograde and the Mars retrogrades retrograde as it closes. And as you reflect on everything that you've learned, you're going to start to really get clear on what it is that you want to achieve from that. What abundance do you want to gather? What abundance have you already gathered? What abundance do you want to continue to gather as a result of those lessons? And then the last thing I want to mention is that if there's any lies or deceptions that have already been revealed to you, make a pact with yourself that you won't fall for that energy again, or you won't give it power again, or that you won't slip into its spell again. Use your wisdom and really make that pact, that contract with yourself, that you're not going to be fooled again by any kind of manipulations, lies, or deceptions that you've experienced in the past. Because when you make that commitment to learn your lesson, you really step into a new timeline of experience, and you don't have to keep looping those lessons again and again. So make sure you tell the universe, okay, I've learned my lesson. I don't want to fall for that again. I'm not going to. And make sure you actually do the work. Don't just say that and not follow through. Follow through is everything as well. That's part of diving deep to rise high also. Okay. Let me know how all of you are resonating with this. Carmen is here. She says, I love meditation more and more than ever. I've only been doing it a couple years, but now I enjoy it more. Definitely. And feeling the difference if you don't feel it. Yeah, if you don't meditate. So powerful. Kevin says much high multidimensional energy. Yes, definitely, Kevin. So much energy there. There's a lot of galactic energy. Lots of galactic energy. I actually took a couple weeks off the Starseed meditations on my Facebook page because I really wanted to get fully integrated in all the galactic energy that I've been experiencing and that's been coming forward from my guides. And I plan on sharing that really shortly with all of you. I'm going to be creating an event. I talked to you about that last week, about the hybrid children event, because a lot of galactic hybrid children are coming through with messages ready to transform the world. And we have a lot of work to do with them. So I'm going to be talking about that and the galactic updates of energy in an event. It's probably sometime in November, at the very latest, early December. I'll be announcing the exact dates of that next reading. So make sure to watch next week's reading to find out the dates of that event, so I can really chat with all of you who are super interested in cosmic energy. We'll create a nice Zoom group event that we can all chat and talk and update energy on. And we'll also do a little meditation based on all the things that I pick up on the energy that I want to share from what I've been integrating with my guides. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about there as well. All right. Let's see. We're going to go into astrology now. I want to go over the key astrological influences of this week. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Scorpio new moon that's happening on Sunday. But on Sunday, since we have another brand new reading at 1:11 p.m. Central Time this next Sunday, I'll also be going deeper into the Scorpio new moon that day as well. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the first astrological influence. It's happening on Monday. That's tomorrow, 11/9. And the actual date numerologically adds up to 15. 15 is the number of alchemy. So there's a lot of alchemy energy this week. I'm going to talk more about that with the Scorpio new moon as well. But just know that with that energy numerologically adding up to 15, the alchemist number, that we are going to be stepping into the power of transmutation, the ability of making lower vibrational energies, higher vibrational energies, and a true embodiment of diving deep to rise higher, okay? In the stars, we're going to see Venus opposing Mars. So this is going to give us a lot of tensions in love and action, and really kind of making us rise to the action to create balance between the masculine and feminine. This is going to be an energy that's going to feel dualistic, but is actually going to be for the purpose of unification and connection. So just make sure that any tensions that arise in love or loving relationships or within your own heart are examined from a spiritual perspective, and that you find balance within them so that you can come together in unity there. Then on the 10th, which is Tuesday, we're going to see the sun in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces. So this is going to open up a really deep spiritual flow, emotional, empathic energy, a heightened sensitivity to intuition and to discernment. and also this energy of kind of highlighting shadow work for the purpose of spiritual growth as well. And then on the 12th of November, which is Thursday, we're going to feel love, expansion, expression, and joy. We're going to notice some creativity and imagination really rising to the surface. This is going to be great for artistic projects and any kind of things that we want to express through creatively. And Jupiter conjuncts Pluto that day, which is going to bring us into abundance from wisdom of letting go of things that don't serve us. This is also wisdom of rebirth and really becoming renewed. Any areas where we've let things go, let baggage go, done the healing, done the cleansing work, we are going to feel the abundance from that coming in on Thursday. And then on Friday the 13th, a powerful day, Friday the 13th, totally not taboo, definitely an energy of intense spiritual connection to the intuitive realm, and also this energy of the divine feminine with that 13 number, again showing up since we have that Mother of Mercy card for November from the annual reading that I did at the beginning of the year. So we're feeling a lot of that compassion, forgiveness, merciful energy onto any shadow aspects, and really making sure that we feel love for ourselves if we've disappointed ourselves in any way, and really just letting go of taboo aspects within ourselves, judgment within ourselves, and things like that. Mars goes direct. Mars retrograde ends that day, and it ends in 15 degrees Scorpio, 15 again being that number of alchemy, Scorpio being the new moon and season that we're in currently. So lots of alchemy with our shadow, lots of alchemy with our intuition. Scorpio is an underworld sign that really reigns and governs our shadow work. And so we're going to feel a lot of that alchemy and divine release of judgment so that we can honor all parts of our spectrum of energy and light. And then on the 14th, which is Saturday, the Sun sextiles Pluto and Jupiter, which is going to give us more expansion of rebirth and wisdom and completion, more abundance, more awareness of bigger picture perspectives, as well as it highlights that Pluto and Jupiter energy. So let's finish up with just a little bit on the Scorpio new moon for the Sunday energy on the 15th. Of course, like I said, I'm going to dive deeper into this on the actual day, and I'll probably be doing a moon talk with Chad on Instagram that day as well. So lots to look forward to on that day for the moon energy, but I'll at least touch on what we should prepare for as we step into that energy before Sunday. Now, like I said, the Scorpio new moon is on November 15th. 15 again being that alchemy number. So we're stepping into another alchemy number there. We're starting the week with the alchemy number with 11-9, adding up to 15. And then we're finishing the week on that Sunday with an actual 11-15 with the alchemy number. So just front to back alchemy here. Shadow work is at its peak this week for the sake of alchemy, really being able to transmute any lower vibrational energies, things of judgment, things of pessimism, things of aggression, narcissism, jealousy, greed, lies, things like that, all the shadowy energies that we hold on to and harbor within ourselves or try to ignore within ourselves. It's the peak of that energy for us to see it, to accept it, to clear it, and to move through a rebirth so that we can really let go of it or tame it enough to move into a new energy. So our emotions, our intense emotions this week with the Scorpio new moon on this 15th, from that week, actually not this week, but it will really affect mostly next week, is going to reveal our energy focus. So the emotions we feel are going to show us what we need to focus on and what is most present in our heart that needs our attention. So this can be really deep emotions. These can be really uncomfortable emotions. And this can be really joyful emotions as well. Whatever emotions that need our attention are going to be screaming at us, and we want to pay attention to it. Again, we're going to be diving deep to rise high with this energy. So on the 15th, make sure you do some deep reflective work. Make sure you allow yourself to raise your vibration in whatever way you're called intuitively. Be the alchemist, be the magician of your life. And we can really tap into the mastery of those energies if we use it correctly. We want to explore the depths of our soul. We want to explore the depths of our shadow. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this, and I'm actually going to create a whole series on my own shadow work as I do shadow work, and it's going to be a really powerful experience. So I'm going to be revealing the way to access that content as well very shortly, probably next week. So be on the lookout for that as well if that's something that you're interested in, because in that I'll also be showing you how to do your own shadow work, because it's so important for the rest of the year, and I really want to be there to do it with you guys. And again, mirror work is going to be a big focus for this new moon in Scorpio on the 15th. Now, I talked a little bit about seeing yourself in others and others seeing them in themselves in you. That's an essence of mirror work, but you can also actually physically embody mirror work by scrying or journaling. Scrying is when you look into a crystal ball or into a, obsidian, or I think this is tourmaline plate, and you can kind of look into a mirror even and see yourself and stare at yourself. And as you do, and as you breathe deeply, you start to notice emotions that come up. You start to notice thoughts of yourself that come up. You start to recognize your relationship with yourself as you stare at yourself through the crystal or through the mirror. And that can be a really, really great way of doing the mirror work and seeing things that you maybe haven't seen within yourself in a long time or at all. Journaling is also a great way to do this in a more mental way or emotional way, where you're writing out what you see in yourself, or you're writing out what you're feeling in yourself, and you're kind of just letting that process teach you more about yourself in a mirror way. And then it's also important for us to explore the void spaces, not just the dark, shadowy spaces, but for this new moon in Scorpio, we also want to recognize what's been missing in our lives, what has been absent, what has been void or unfulfilled, what has been empty. And as we notice that, we're going to want to shine love onto that awareness, and we're going to want to really imagine ourselves having fulfillment in those areas so that we can start to manifest it. And we do so by recognizing if there's any belief systems, judgments, fears, or doubts that have been plaguing our perspective on those void spaces, causing us to keep them empty and not fulfilled, because we're not looking at them in a way of solving, but more in a way of feeling victimized by that space. Because the void space is not empty. It's not bad. It's not scary. It's not dark. It's not sad. When we recognize that things are missing in our life and that there's void there, we actually recognize that void space and that ability to put something where there isn't something. This ability to fulfill something that isn't fulfilled. This ability to fill the cup that isn't filled yet. And so if we didn't have that awareness, we wouldn't actually be able to fill or fulfill ourselves, right? And so we need that awareness. So we can look at that with gratitude and as an opportunity to create something amazing in our lives and to create that satisfaction. So this is a really powerful energy. And this is how we become the alchemists and the magicians, okay? This is really how we do the work. Now, the last couple things I want to say is that there are some undertones of fire with this Scorpio new moon. There's definitely something fiery brewing, maybe some aggression, maybe just some outbursts, maybe just some emotional roller coasters that cause some tension. This can be within ourselves or the mass collective. Definitely some fiery energy. And also remember that Scorpio's season is all about deceptions and mysteries being revealed. And this is a very moon-centered energy. It's a very intuitive energy. So let your emotions and your intuition and your empathic nature dictate the ways in which you process the mysteries being revealed and how you let them be revealed, okay? Yeah, our empathic ability is going to be super sensitive and strong with the new moon in Scorpio as it activates at the end of the week on Sunday. So let that be something that you notice. Don't feel overwhelmed or overpowered by your empathic ability. Just make sure you get still and present and meditative so that you can feel into what exactly you're picking up on. And make sure to release anything that's not yours simply by setting that intention. If you feel a lot of energy, you can say to yourself using the mantra, I release any energy that is not my own. I release any energy that is not my own. I release any energy that is not my own. Breathe with it, say it as much as you need to, and you'll feel the cleansing of that energy so that you're not so overwhelmed or impacted by other energy outside of you. All right, everybody, that is the end of our astrological essence of our reading. How is everybody feeling? I want to go ahead and, of course, pull cards to end this reading out, but let me know how you're feeling. Oh, thank you, Marie, for the super chat donation. So grateful for you there. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for the shout out of my song, Aura. Thank you. I'm so, so glad that that's been helpful for you during this time. Aura is definitely the song that I wrote for the purpose of protecting our energy amongst dark and shadowy times. It does have a beautiful mantra at the end to help you cleanse and clear your energy or the energy around you. And it's a very vibrationally activating energy for protection in your light, in your magic. So definitely, if that's something that you think you need in your life, conscious music is something that I'm so passionate about creating because it really does help us vibrationally attune to whatever we need to. And that's why I wrote my album Spirit Junkie, and it's available on all streaming services, and it's been up for a couple of years and people really love it. So that song Aura is on there. I also have several other songs, all very conscious and spiritually based. So you can check that out. Tidal, iTunes, Spotify, just type in Rissa Vibes, Spirit Junkie, okay? And I have new music coming for all of you very soon as well. I've been in the studio almost every week for the past few weeks. I'm actually really working on kind of getting the final touches done and some other things. I'm probably going to create some kind of, I don't know. I don't really know yet how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be doing probably some kind of crowdfunding for the album because I am needing a couple of more things to be in place in order for me to get the production fully set and the distribution set for everything. So I'll be in touch with you on that as well. I'm creating a couple of different ways to serve you all as the audience as I ask for support of those projects as well. So I'll definitely be keeping you posted on that. And also, everybody, just keep in mind that today is the last live reading, but it is not the last weekly reading, okay? I'm still going to be back next week at 1:11 p.m. Central Time, and I will be right here giving you all the messages of the week. But instead of live, I will be premiering these readings from a pre-recording. I'll probably pre-record them only a day or two before Sunday, but I'll set it to premiere. That way I can actually live chat with all of you while the reading is going on. And, we can just also avoid any technological issues with YouTube crashing that we've had before with the lives. So super excited to do that and to kind of create a new system that I think is going to really work for all of us. So thank you for all of you who have been so faithful and loyal and amazing, showing up for these lives every single week. And I encourage you to still show up for them just as consistently, because we all, show up here to connect to this web of light community that we've created to chat live. And I'm really excited to be able to chat live with you even more, because I'll be able to just watch the reading and kind of talk to you all about it as it's going on, instead of like right now where I'm seeing all these amazing comments. But if I were to take time to read them, while I'm live, it wouldn't make sense. But I'll actually be able to be involved in the conversation so much more starting next week. So I'm super excited about that. All right, let's see what the cards are for this week. So exciting. I'm also going to pull a moon card. And we're just talking about magic. And look, the beginning of the week card is the Magician. I know you guys can't read that bottom of the card because it's so bright, but it is the Magician card. Trust me when I say it, because it is there. It says it at the bottom. But the Magician card is all about alchemy. It's about creating magic. It's about allowing ourselves to recognize our power. And it's about really stepping into it in a big way. And our energy and the way the stars are aligning and the way our spirit is speaking to us, it's saying that we have so much power to create magic and to create alchemy and to create what we desire if we use the Scorpio energy correctly, if we dive deep within ourselves to identify what we want, and if we actually do the work, the inner work and the outer work to actually achieve it, okay? We have to do the work. So many people want the results, but don't want to do the work. The work is the most important part. I help a lot of people do the work because it's one of my biggest passions. It's something that I see so many people knowing that they need to do, but not knowing how, and really needing a mentor support in order for them to stay accountable of themselves and responsible to do the work. So if this is something that you know you need, if you've been called spiritually to more work on yourself intuitively, energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically, and you really need a mentor that is spiritually based, that's conscious, and that can help you really feel into your intuition, your gifts, your power, your soul purpose in order to activate the changes that you know you want in your life, please reach out to me. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video for you to sign up for a consultation to talk about the coaching and mentorship program that I have available for you. I've had so many clients come to me needing, and needing to activate their magic and wanting to see magic really, really validate itself in their experience. And I've seen that happen. So if you've been called to magic and you don't know how to make it happen in your life, reach out to me because I can help you with that. And that can be really powerful because this is the perfect time for magic to really manifest in such a powerful way. All right, middle of the week card is perception. Look at that beautiful eye in the sky, this bigger picture perspective, looking at things completely differently than you usually do, really expanding your perspective so that you can see things more clearly. This is also about those hidden mysteries being revealed and allowing those things to be revealed to you, to be kind of more on the surface so that you can see it and not ignore it. So don't ignore things when you're being called to change your perception or to look into different perception. Have compassion, have consideration, let the ego go for a little bit. Don't let the ego join the party, because when you do, you pinch yourself off from new information and new insight that might be really important for you to see. And that new insight could be the new truth, the new integrity. This is that truth and justice we talked about from the spirit messages, this realization of what truth really is and what justice really is and how to really achieve it. And that's going to be the end of the week. Okay, so be the magician so that you can step into new perceptions on life, new perceptions of your reality, and new ways to accomplish more. And that abundance that comes from it is your truth, is your integrity, is your follow through, is your divine light, and is the way in which we are going to create a clearer and brighter future for ourselves and for the world. Okay, let me know how all of you are feeling. That is the end of the reading. All the announcements I have are really going to be next week for some new events coming up. I'll be doing probably a Starseed event that I'll announce next week. And then I'll also probably be doing another event that I got called to do sometime next month as well. So be on the lookout for that. I've got lots to announce next week. So make sure you're here next Sunday, 1:11 p.m. Central Time for the premiere of our new weekly reading. And make sure that if you're not subscribed currently, subscribe to this channel, tap the bell for all of the notifications on this channel so that you can know when we're premiering a new weekly reading or a new video in general. I'm super excited for all the new content I have to share with all of you. And I'm so grateful for all of you to join in every single week like you always do for these weekly readings. I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Peace. Oh, you're right. I didn't do a moon card. Okay, let me do a moon card. Thank you, May. Good call. I was going to do one, and then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do one because I'm going to talk more about the moon next Sunday. But, ooh, I don't want two cards. We just want one card. There we go. But we'll do a moon card. Oh my gosh, we had this card last time too. The Brother in Darkness card is showing up for the moon card. And I'm going to do another moon card next week when we're really in the moon energy. But the Brother in Darkness card came through last week as well, I believe, for the last moon we had. And it says, whenever negative energy is present, it is a sign that we are ready to move more deeply into our feminine divine power. You shall overcome any negative energy with grace and triumph. Stay in your heart. There is no need to be afraid. We talked about staying in your heart. We talked about not being afraid of the shadow. We talked about really allowing ourselves to step into our divine feminine power with that Mother of Mercy card and that Empress card last week as well. And just the energy of the divine feminine showing up in the astrological and numerological values of this week. So the Brother in Darkness is definitely so resonant for the moon card for the new moon in Scorpio, but we'll also pull another one next week for the new weekly reading. All right? I love you all so much. Thank you again for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.